The black man is on a winding road to Jubilee. Hello again, my people. SkyWalker here, and this is for the people out there talking too enthusiastically about a black Jesus and reveling in the God spell. God is a particular entity, but creation is the all. Who is bigger? There is no God outside of you to serve. There is creation and the inherent creator in perpetual motion. Connect with creation to connect with the creator. Connect with the creator to become the divine. The divine man is God upon the plane. God internal, man divine. If you are going back to a God spell based on religious dogma and superstitions, you shall remain in the same place without your God and in chains. Otherwise, you will be free. You should all have known this, but I will tell you as a perk for your sufferings. When you conform to the Creator laws, when you conform to the Creator laws, you conform to your own divine connection. Those that conform and connect have no reason to go searching for God. It is unnatural to seek for God. It is unnatural to seek for God. Natural traits are natural and you will always have them in your way. When you go to eat, it is not natural to go searching for your teeth first, except that if you lost them, you might look for dentures. But is that normal? How on earth can you be looking for a family when you are in your father's house and your mother holds you in her bosom? Can you not see how you are confused? Someone tricks you and say, look up. Then by the time you looked up, your God was gone and substituted. Like, who the heck does that? You know there will be consequences, right? So don't do it again. Don't go back there. Your God was so white that your black children had to start bleaching off their skins. Your men are in black communities filled with black women, but every one of these black women are white. The things he expects to see in a black woman are no longer there. He has a fake white or Asian woman, but she says that Asian and white women are culture vultures. She says that white men are cute and black men ain't worth shit. And then she has a son who is dressed like a girl and going to school, for she doesn't want that bum nigga dad around. Now the man is gone, and I mean he is gone permanently. Any solution to it cannot be found in this generation, for it's out of man's control now. Where is your God? I don't mean the white man. I mean, where is your natural God? If you cannot find your God, I shall not lament for you. The black man thinks that the other guy who lives from his hard labor with small earnings is his problem. He has, but he does not. He has, but he does not share. He does not like him because he has and he does not share. And that is a pretty good reason. That is a pretty good reason, is all he can see. He is so dumbed down that his intelligence has become corruption. He feels justified to kill another because he has it and did not give it to him. And that to him was good reason to take a life. Where is your God? I don't mean some external entity that teaches you to call for blood as you sacrifice your own brother to eat food. I mean, where is your natural God? The only God that works, not something to adjust to or be added to you with 1,000 laws. Where is your good that comes from the innate law of love? If you cannot find it, I will not shed tears for you. See, the heathen are coming now. The heathen are coming now, and the powers of your great and ancient kingdom has returned to the sky. Look up, look up. They want to see that you deserve what you require. So find God in you. Find God in you, and the ancestors will do the impossible for you. They will turn back the heathen. The heathen was never a threat. You can be your own nemesis. People, if you find this video interesting, then hit the like button and subscribe to stay abreast with these discussions. In fact, it helps to keep with the algorithms. Know how great that little thing is. Thank you all so much. The birds, so chirpy, have their God within, but you will go a whoring for synthetics, leaving or rejecting the intrinsic of you. It is when you leave that innate force of you that you become possessed by external demons. God is internal, and by internal God, man is divine. You cannot see the divine, and you cannot know that realm without the innate connection to God, or without the innate connection to creation. Creation is not God. Creation is more mighty than any God. Creation is the all, but God is a divine connection to creation. When you conform to those natal laws, you become the God you must be. God is He who mans, a manager on the surface of the earth, but not the ego and greed as the heathen race and their enthusiastic allies. These allies are being used against you, then they will be isolated and destroyed. While being destroyed, they will holler to remind you that you are their brothers, are their cousins at least, and that you should help. Know that know that in the past, when you were gods and your leaders were supreme, you died in your greatness until you chose that synthetic thing. You have no contract with creation to remove the dinosaurs and claim the land. Those are the ways of the heathen, satanic forces. People create their own nemesis, so don't go back to the heathen mindset. It is the way of those void of understanding who make their own agreement with death by claiming they are masters of genocides or that they must master creation to be gods above the gods. They are filled with ego and prejudice. You are the creature of love, and you understand that justice, equality is the sum of peace and happiness. The one man upon the face of the earth who can manifest a golden age with peace between all people is the black man. No other race possesses that divine faculty of love to that degree. Love is goodness, truth, and beauty. It holds no greed or prejudice. It holds no injustice or inequality. It respects the borders that are natural. Even the animals in the jungle respect borders, but not the heathen. These synthetic beings and children of Emmanuel have done enough. They have done enough. And know that you have proven to your God that you are the only one. Make sure, make sure you have found him. Make sure you have found your God. Do not go back to a God spell. Do not turn away from God this time. It is not natural that someone must tell you about God. It is not natural that someone must tell you about God. It is natural that you must know love, the natal understanding. Do unto others as you would have others do to you. These laws were made by internal conscience. Conscience came with the moment of consciousness. Generic consciousness breeds love at the very breath of the moment. So, divine conscience is love. Love is what we live for. Love is the only truth of fulfillment. Therefore, the one law is love. Our ideal is love. Obey the law of love, and you will be one with the Creator again. No longer will you accept intrusions to your sanctity in these ways that I will explain to you. Hold on to your natal force that is conceived of love and proven with conscience. Be one with the universe, be one with the all, and empower your legacies. Once you are never moved, you will forever be the gods this time, but not by taking on a God spell. If you want a leader among you, a leader comes naturally. You, the gods, will understand that the leader is supreme as a god, but only to the degree of that one purpose. It is never to exploit in the way the self cursing heathen people do. No, they are coming to complete the evil thing. Already, they have Israel as their enclave in the Middle East. Then in Egypt, they hold and possess another where their own people reside to easily be called upon to intrude Africa. Israel is zealous, for the masses are confused by a God spell, and it will be used to confuse them in terms of it being forefronted as the truthful purpose of their mission. For they will be fighting something. They will be fighting a war that they think is for a different purpose than it really is. And this is what they do with all these enclaves and all these cults and all these god spells. They give you a mission based on the storyline of that god spell so that you will fight a war to fulfill theirs. And this is what they have even the Prime Minister of Jamaica doing. Fighting a war, a superficial battle for something else. In fact, he's fighting a battle to blindside himself and blindside the people while the heathen pour guns into the country to the hands of destitute youths that many of them have death wishes. They also have influence over bodies of Islamic forces that are terrorists. And the God spell to them will be that it is a divine mission given to them by Allah, and then these forces will be used to intrude upon Africa towards the west. And when Israel go, they want to start probably around the region of Nigeria. That is where their intrusion would cut. But already South Africa is way down there in the middle. And if they get that enclave, then you know. Make sure you have your God with you this time. Make sure you have those mighty celestial forces that connected to you. Britain and America can easily fund the terrorists without being seen as the enemies of Israel. Or, let me explain it this way. Britain and America can easily appeal to the Islamic movements like Boko Haram and fund all these terrorists without being seen as enemies because Israel will take the bad cop role. In South Africa, They are trying to confuse the godless people of affording them an enclave. They are trying to confuse the blacks in South Africa to accept them as an enclave. And if the people disagree, they will do a lot of evil stuff to make the people not want them near. So the people will agree. But the best move that the people will have is to get rid of them, because to put an enclave in the middle of a people is in itself immoral. It is immoral, especially when you were there as a land pirate, a thief. So the people will not give an enclave to them. How can I give you a gun to fight against me? A godless people that will afford the enemy what the enemy would not afford them will be punished. No black group of people could go to Switzerland and set up an enclave. An enclave of black folks emerged in Germany, although not by deliberate design, and they were holocausted, and their image was changed to white collar Jews. Not even their entities were not even their identities, not even their identities were spared by the evil body snatchers. They changed their colors to white Jews. And they gave reparation to these white Jews in order to establish them in Israel upon the lands of the Palestinians. Do not allow the heathen race to build enclaves in your country. They would not afford you that. They are seeking to win your trust, pulling all the stops, even trying to use the God spells. But you should know better. Don't let those that fight against the Most High try to convince you. Higher powers are here. They cannot stop the time. They cannot stop the time. In the past, you asked what you did to deserve these awful things that must now come to an end. You are the people that would consider letting them have an enclave in your land. So your question is partly answered. You say that the heathen came upon you, but who gave the powerless this power? Have you read the allegory of the story of Job? Who are the ones that tear Jesus' robe to share among them? What was sweet to their mouth will be sour to their bellies for countless eternities. But still, you must know where you had blame. You must know where you also had blame. You told them that your power was in the locks, and you allowed them to trim the locks so they could see. That is why you became weak. The first snake you saw, you were so bedazzled by it, and you never knew about that sharp end. Now you know everything about snakes. You need not be bitten anymore. Do not let another hiss intrude upon your mind space and threaten your divine. Do not do the failures of your ancestors and your leaders that are fading off, but too slowly. They turned away from God and sought after that which was external. But creation cannot connect internally with a force that was externalized. Your ancestors became dependent for definitions. Your leaders are dependent for definitions, and they make money and revel to the curse of their own legacies. As soon as you go back to God, you will spew them out. Do not go back to a God spell that will make you look outward for what is intrinsic within. When you look outwards by your next inhalation, the enemy is drawn within and you are possessed by that demon. Those subtle little details are of extreme importance. This is why I chose these topics. The people must be prepared for things that are coming. The greatest force that the heathen ever used was the God spell. Its power is nearly neutralized, but it still has a bit of a venom. So be careful. Be careful. Telling you that Jesus was black is not helping anything but ego. Dark ego and prejudice are not your natural or useful traits. These belong to the heathen. You already know you are black, and Jesus is multiple things. One, he was a man like you in Palestine, who, because of the wisdom of the Assin, which tribe he was from, although just a remnant hiding in caves, he watched the stars outwardly. It is unfortunate that because of generations of exploitations, these understandings did not follow through to other parts of Africa with these tribal remnants. These wisdom and practices connect the chosen ones that chose themselves to the divine Akasha and the light of all knowing. At that time, Jesus was a Yeshu, now shortened to Yeshu, of the Asin tribe, a people of astrology, stargazers at that time, but stargazers in the most right and proper ways that taught the world about the two cosmics and how they connect. The first cosmic is inward, and the second is that outward. Like as you use your eyes and rays to blue heavens to observe the moon and the sun, the spiritual wind behind the physical cosmic is mind, thought, that which brings our rights, the eventualities. Thought needs no location. Thought is, every thought is everywhere because there is just that one place which is nowhere at all. For there is no location before thought determines and one. I do not want to go too deep on this tangent, so let me get to the point. Besides, it is confusing to most. ISU, the Asin, his tribal remnants, and even the Adamic Peter understood how everything that was in the sky was also in the cosmic of mind. Therefore, man, in a way, by using these understandings, became the seers. This is still the highest science and most impossible seeming, but yet one of the simplest to prove, but not by those too practical. Those that are too practical cannot see the way of the Spirit, so they cannot walk with the Creator. Those that are too spiritual cannot connect with the divine and be fruitful upon the mundane plane. Not everyone will make sense of the fact that water, which knows itself as material, is raised up to heaven as gas, but it transitions from the physical to the spiritual realm. Yet it still exists as spirit. Most of these practical folks cannot connect the dots by the little sciences that prove this. They do not realize that we are made up of the same elements that prove all the dimensions. We can see the dimensions we are in at the time we are there. Does not mean that there is no other. Not because we can see where we are doesn't mean that there isn't someplace else. If you are in your house, seeing all within those walls, it does not mean there is nothing else beyond those walls. So this physical man, ISU, could connect the pattern of the life form of the sons of men by ambiguity, meaning both the sun that shines as star in the sky and the sun that is born to the children of men. His culture knew how to see man's journey in the journey of the sun. This is a topic that I won't get into today, but observe all we ever have to say in order to clarify, to make points. You see, the Pope of Rome is always one at all times, but there is ever a Pope of Rome, and the Jesus was always the same. One master would always rule. When one leaves, another takes over. His birth name was not always a Yesu. Yesu was the title that he was the son and the giver of light. Yesu of that Qumran region at the time was quite likely the last one set as the light bearer for that way of light after the scatterings of the black people. So before all the desolations of Palestine, the Jesus factor was a part of the black man's culture, similar to the Pope being a part of the white man and white God culture. Except that in the Western world, it is a fabrication. And in the time of those Jesuses, it was a real and true science to answer the questions of the dimensional realms. So, Jesus has two realms. For the way of thought in a sin sect would ever respect the ambiguity conceived in as in the spiritual, so in the physical. I hope I am not confusing. I try, my people, I try. When the Romans destroyed the Assyrian sect, they established its mirror in the dark papal system, thinking that by stealing this god power, they could be like the gods. They turned everything black to white. Before that, even in the East, to China and Asia, even to India, black was seen as divine, for God visited them, and white as evil, for they lacked closeness to God. People understand that God only visits you when you follow the natal laws of the universe so that the Creator will connect to you. When you go for synthetic truth, you turn away from God. It has nothing to do with any God spell and you empowering outside individuals to be your divine instructors that you follow religiously. This is an intrusive force that can lead to demon possession, or it can open a demon portal, or you might just degrade to the zombie state like all these masses depending are dependent for external definitions. Most of the teachings of Jesus explained higher orders, how to embrace the divine beyond the borders of mundane life and reincarnation. Tutu, the man they refer to as Tut, explain to men how to carry your past life memories when you die. But know that process will not help most individuals because of decisions that cause these chemical changes. All these stories about the disciples of Jesus and the New Testament, etc., are made around one standard, which is the law of the cosmic that Europeans fabricated for power play. It is both allegorical, concerning only the cosmic and the holy ones of heaven in the stars. It is also those physical masters of the wisdom whose lives they connected to the order of perpetual motion. Jesus was a man, but there were many others. Jesus is most essentially the way of sunlight. The way of sunlight is the greatest topic you can ever raise, but you cannot explain it to the blind. One who is too practical and intelligent for you, and you cannot gain one iota of traction, even when your word is proven for the umpteenth time. So, the wisdom is this: don't start to argue with them. Cold stars and lesser lights have their own dimensions. Many of you claim that Jesus was made up by the Europeans. It is only a half truth, for you get blinded by the paradoxes. If Jesus is the Son of God, the SUN, when was it truly created? The truth is that the stories were plagiarized, corrupted, and returned to the face of the enslaved as a spell. Even Zeus of Ethiopia and Amun Ra were early Jesuses, except the word will not be pronounced the same. Names do change by deliberate or other means, for deliberate reasons and for no reason at all. These Jesus characters were not superficial entities like popes that live for worship they do not deserve. It was the magnitude of their divine wisdom that made people see them as divine ones above them. Nothing of lesser magnitude could make Zeus of Ethiopia, Amun Ra, Tutu, who is Tat, or Ayesio of Qumran appear larger than life. These men had understandings that connect between dimensions. They understood the wisdom of soul traveling beings and how to remove all restraints upon the mundane and demonic paradigm of earth world that traps you inside a box to eternity if you let it. People exist on earth around you that remember their past lives, their conceptions, and their birth. They only fear speaking about it because you can be extremely cruel to them. There are more dimensions to reality than you think. Your reality is that you inherited a legacy of darkness where your souls are put to sleep. They call you a dead race. You are mostly the zombies, but now our people can manifest the incredible gods rising. Just because you figure that it's an anomaly does not make it untrue. People that claim to be practical and close minded thinking are the very ones that prove to be religiously superstitious. God is in the open mind, and a prisoner is on the other side. When you make broad statements and points that you never proved, you are religious. To say that no one has ever died and returned holds no merit. How did you prove it? When many men are saying they remember past lives. I know that I questioned my mother about the place I saw her before I was born, and I used all the details. I included all the details. She knew also that I did. How then is someone going to prove me wrong? You prove me wrong, but only by the fact that it is not common or it is not normal. It is the great extent of your mightiful intelligence as you keep working with the most mundane and hidden spirit forces of this world. Sometimes I see energies like clouds. These energies I read and they tell me what the coming winds of earth are or what will happen next. Neither is it by some magic or superstitious form as you only imagine. It is in a tangible and logical form, just as typing on the computer screen. You cannot debate on it because you do not access that realm of experience. That is the truth. Everything you say to contradict is mere evidence of your superstitious or religious impractical approach. You think it's that normal, and you confuse the word norm with possibility. You have these triggers. You use words with impunity, talking snobby about woke culture and conspiracy theory to shape others into silence as if that approach is ever logical. You scoffed at Black Jesus conspiracy theory. You scoff at the claims about diseases being made in labs, and you swear that being able to scoff by words often repeated is victory in the conversation. You are religious and disingenuous. No, you are jumping about Black Jesus and pretending that you have been saying that all the time. You hypocrite, you. You force your brother to take a medicine, claiming that the side effect has never killed you. But slow genocides can often work if the population was sterile. Slow genocides can often work if the population was sterile. Evil brother, you, your judgment will be worse than that of the heathen. For all you did was for vanity, to show off as if great possessions is the sign of elevation. You are a soulless zombie, but you think that things make you more abundant. Those that did not get their reward in this life have more treasures than you. You have this confounded vision by way of trick words. Truth is the anomaly. By not releasing this spell, you will have no hope. Remove the spell. As long as man has been on the earth, his advancement has only come at times when the norm was absolved. The norm will be dissolved because you being free was not a common event. Norm defines only that which is not common. That which is common is not the only thing that may occur. New norms are created every day. Henceforth, it is normal to say that Jesus was black. Was it common for Halley's comet to come? Was it normal? But it comes at one time, doesn't it? In all of that event, when was it impossible for Halley's comet to come one day? When? Because it wasn't common. I say to stand far from those that claim to be too practical. They become polarized to a different kind of superstitious dark realm when we only know mundane science and forget that spiritual winds are also the other dimension of reality. We forego divine principles necessary to complete the whole. We connect the wires, see the light come, but we do not know the science of the gap being bridged between the physical and spiritual to obtain the light. We must realize that the highest dimensions of spirit science has to do with nothing but the invisible, including thought itself. Most demons our ideas and thought patterns. We are too superstitious. We become superstitious by being too practical as much as by being too spiritual. Religion is a kind of superstition. Creation is compatible to science. Religion is not. The divine realm creates by science formulas. In fact, it is where science becomes the one resident. That is how we derived an alphabet and the theorem that Pythagoras stole from Egypt and called his own. Why do I choose these topics? I hope they will remove certain triggers I see upon the masses. You hear what I'm saying? It is important for the people to find the divine in them, preparing for the things that are coming. The Black Jesus move is simply to reinforce the power of God's spell over you. Yes, you will be approved by them, saying he is black, but you will in turn approve of the God's spell. Jesus was never your master, neither was he better than you. He was ever the leader of the as seen as the Pope is of the Church of Rome. Jesus is one subject to the Creator, who finds the divine and moved upon the earth as a God. At the time of his tread upon the earth, there was a colonial system, and the black people were enslaved. He was a man like Marcus Garvey or Martin Luther King, but he became the leader of the Asian culture. However, he was not the only light in their long history. These people affix their mundane reality to the reality of cosmic events. This has been going on since the masterful Amun Ra. His name was Marduk. He was the first Jesus, and all the others, up to the last one, represented him. Now he only lives in spiritual force, kidnapped and contorted by the Roman Catholic, so they can use his power to conquer the earth with the cross that his people were ever heisted and burnt upon. Even the Greek god Zeus of Ethiopia is the representation of Jesus, which many believe might be Marduk himself. Stay in yourself this time and do what the birds do. Find God as intrinsic, natal. Be satisfied with the natural principle of divinity. Do not outsource your God because the heathen are coming. They have already begun a covert attack. They isolate and attack Haiti. Then they distract you by telling you to send your army there. But in the meantime, they are attacking you by piling up guns in your country that has no leadership because leadership was always outsourced to them by them ever enforcing their own system of execution to an incompatible culture. They know this does not work. They know it does not work. An intrusion to your country does not always have to be physical. It can be a mere government policy, a societal philosophy, or just a simple God spell. Anywhere the children of your cult exist, you hold power, for you have influence over them. The missionaries that go to Africa are just as important to the heathen than as in fact They are probably even more important than the troops they send to defile Africa. Every convert is the unwitting traitor. Every convert is the unwitting traitor. How hard do you see the churches go up against state injustices? In Haiti, it is mostly the criminals who are fighting for freedom. When you connect with the Creator or by embracing creation with love, the divine realm becomes accessible to you, and the divine man turns into the God on earth. God is not the all powerful force. No unique entity will ever achieve that. Creation is the all. Go back to your own God. You will suffer if you deny it again this time and trust in perpetual motion. The universe will judge your enemies. Many are irredeemable, and that is why they are coming. Pharaoh is coming with an army to prevent you from crossing over. I wish you could all look and know, see. I wish you could look and see. At the time appointed, you might just will. There is a plane that follows you from the highest region, hovering overhead, and they will record every judgment, every justice to deliver. Everyone who wants to see your victory is here, and their legions are mightier than forces you know. The heathen has parted rivers, but your source will part the sea. Things our mortal eyes of earth has never seen, like I see the heavens open up. There is great traffic in the cosmic. You are upon the threshold of paradise on this winding road to Jubilee. Peace out.